time.
The entire time. And it is all about discipline and hard work. Like, you couldn't pick a better camp, especially if you're a grappling-based guy. You know, like, send him to Dagestan 2-3 years ago. That's the greatest meme of all time.
That's it.
I think what separates, Islam and Habib and that whole group is that there's never a moment where they're not training. Like, I was in Chicago at one of the events for Bellator. And we were there, and I was headed down to the bar after the event. They were headed to the gym, passing me in the elevator. They said, come up and talk to me. So I was up there for an hour just chatting with them while they're riding bikes, lifting weights, getting their workout in, and everyone else is down at the bar drinking.
Wow.
And so it doesn't matter. They don't even look at it. They don't think about it. They just go right to the gym. They get their sweat on. They're up there for 2 hours. It's not like this intensity
But it's not
for 25
intense,
minutes. Yeah.
Right. They're
It's
just
like,
working.
And
They're
then
never letting themselves get out of shape, ever.
no,
That's it.
and then
Yeah.
you see them in the morning, right? When they were training out at AK in the mornings, you'd see them at the track in the mornings. They would just jog, but then there was little stations where you do sit-ups and push-ups. They would do those, and they would do it for 2-3 miles, and they'd come to the gym at noon and they'd do their workout, sometimes hard, sometimes not. But they were always training, always working, and that's what separates them. They're not out at the club until 2-3 in the morning, then trying to recover the next day. They're not drinking, they're not smoking, they're not doing.
The no drinking is huge.
Huge.
Huge. If there's one thing that fucks fighters up more than anything, it's partying.
Oh, yeah.
Drinking especially, I guess coke, but I don't have a lot of experience with guys that I knew that were doing coke, but I have a lot of experience with guys that were drinkers. And you would see them in the morning on, like, they would go out Saturday night, Sunday they'd be fucked up, they show up Monday to train, and they just looked like shit.
Yeah.
Because they had been partying too hard just 2 days ago. Well, I think his squeeze is just phenomenal. Like, because if you see the way he tapped Drew Dober too, the same sort of situation, he gets guys on the ground and I think it's just a next level power and squeeze. Some dudes just have next level squeeze and next level, like, grappling power, and he's developed that his whole life. He's also enormous for 155. He must be otherworldly. And I said, hey man, I go, his squeeze must. He goes, oh, dope. I had him demonstrate a choke on me. And I thought it was gonna be fun. Like, show me how you do that. Show me how you do it. He goes, dude, grabbed a hold of me. I was like, oh, this guy's gonna choke me. And Islam just took him apart on the feet. Took him apart on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, that's how good Islam is. Yeah, it's a good fight to watch, just to see how good he is. The Dober fight scared me too. I was like, the moment he got him down. Islam is big.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what he's cutting, but he's got the perfect physique for that weight class.
Yeah.
Ведро не бывает так, чтобы вы сами зашли. Это надо, что чуть соперник ваш на газах чуть надавил. Вот, давит.
Many young kids looking for the Habib, looking for our team, and we never go party, we never go somewhere, we never smoke, drink, do some bad things, and that's why we have big support in our country. And I also try to show like MMA fighter, try to show like real Muslims, who is not smoking, not do this all bad things.
August is almost here, and Islam Makhachev isn't taking any chances. All the intense training sessions, all the exhausting drills, and all the time spent in the gym is geared towards what will be considered one of the most hyped up bouts of the year, with his fight against Ian Garry. As the challenger makes more outlandish statements, the champion answers with his bread and butter, intense preparations. However, with the stakes now high and everyone expecting too much, can Makhachev's intense training camp make him silence Garry come fight night?
I said this, maybe I caught some flack for it a little bit, but I said, like, look, I think the Ian Garry fight and the Pratis fight for Islam, both those fights, I'm not saying they're easy fights because they're not, but you put someone like a Sean Brady against Islam, and that becomes a little
More
bit of a
difficult.
problem, a little bit more difficult.
But that's
Big
matchups.
difference. Big
You know,
difference.
styles make matchups.
Styles
Yeah.
make matchups, and
They
they
really do.
When you look at someone's style comparatively, one person is easy for someone, or they're very difficult for someone else. If you're going to put someone against Islam, as far as it's going to be on the ground with him and give him difficult times,
There's not a big
it
enough.
would be Brady.
There's not a big enough sample size for me with Michael Morales.
I tell you another thing. The welterweight division is better and more interesting with me as the champion.
Why?
And that's a fact.
Why?
Argue all you want. People can argue. It's a fact, in my opinion, that when I'm the champion of the world, the welterweight division is better off. Firstly, Islam only fights once a year. So his next defense might be in July 2027. But the matchups, the stylistic matchups, they're very different. You have on the cards a potential rematch with Carlos Pratis. That would be massive. You have on the cards there's potential. Arguably the biggest fight you can make in the sport at a certain point is a potential rematch with me and Shavkat Rakhmonov whenever he's able and capable to come back. If he ever comes back, I told you, if. You have a potential matchup with me and Michael Morales, Gabriel Bonfim. You have Sean Brady's in the mix. You have Medic coming up. The welterweight division is the greatest it's ever been. And it's the most stacked it's ever been. It's the best division in the sport right now. There's no arguments about that. From top to bottom, the best division. When I'm the champion of the world, there's going to be more activity. There's going to be more high-level fights. The fans, everybody. I'm promising you now, it's the best thing for the sport. Me going out there and beating Islam, it's going to be a hell of a roller coaster, my friend.
Welterweight is so freaking good right now. There's so many good guys. Do you think Ian is a good choice to test Islam, who will be going for his 17th straight UFC win, trying to break Anderson Silva's record, which he's currently tied with?
Oh wow, yeah, that's wow. I think it's gonna be a good fight. Ian Garry, it's definitely a tough opponent, very good striker. But Islam once again, his goal gonna be to bring the fight to the ground, and I think if he's able to do that, he's gonna have an edge. If Ian Garry is able to keep it on the feet, and Ian gonna have an edge, so it's gonna be interesting.
Do you see Islam giving like a lot of problems to these welterweights? Like currently the top guys are Ian Garry, Michael Morales, Carlos Pratis, all who are very dangerous in their own ways. But it seems like, skill for skill, Islam has the ground edge over all of them. It's just, can he continue to level up on these guys?
Yeah, I think Islam has the edge in terms of skills because he's more well-rounded. He can do it all. And he, especially with his grappling, he's got an edge in that department, and I think that's what he's gonna try to go for.
So, I think this is a big test for him, and if he can get past Ian Garry, that speaks a lot in terms of, man, we got to put him in the conversation. Then if he gets another one, then we definitely have to put him in the conversation.
Yeah, I've been saying, he gets this one, Ian 17, Carlos 18, Michael Morales 19, and then say like Shavkat comes back, gets back to his form, wins a fight or two, and then like that's 20. Like,
yeah,
can you imagine? If he gets 20
that,
wins in a row, he is undeniably the GOAT, Mount Rushmore type of person.
Yeah, if that happens, if he does that, that's crazy. That's insane.
It's all in front of him though. Like that's what it's lining up for, right?
Yeah. And but the hard part again, what I was saying about the frequency of fighting.
Whereas Makhachev lets his hard work speak for itself, Ian Garry raises the stakes further with yet another bold prediction. Instead of focusing on securing a fast finish, the Irish challenger claims he intends to wear down the champion in multiple rounds before stopping him in the 4th round. According to Garry, such an outcome will allow him to send out an unequivocal message since there won't be any room for doubts or excuses. As both contenders have sent 2 drastically different messages before the upcoming August meeting, the excitement grows stronger. Garry was not done with just making this statement. Garry went on further to say that he is the most challenging stylistically for Islam Makhachev in a long while. Through references to his fights in the UFC, Garry went on further to argue that his progression, endurance, and capability of defeating tough opponents mean that he deserves to fight in the highest level. Garry even went ahead to suggest that the reason Makhachev has been spending too much time shooting on other people who could be his rivals is because of the unique challenge that Garry presents. Moreover, Garry did not ignore the similarities between his forthcoming bout against Makhachev and the legendary conflict between Ireland and Dagestan, which once attracted great interest from the fans of UFC. Although he rejected the assumption that this fight is just a repetition of the past, Garry admitted the importance of being a representative of Ireland at one of the major sports stages. Garry sees pride of the nation in this bout. However, he is sure that it is important to write a new chapter instead of repeating an old one. And not only did Garry predict victory, but he also explained why the welterweight division requires him to be its champion. Directing criticism at the frequency with which Islam Makhachev fights, Garry claimed that fans should have a champion who is able to fight frequently rather than defend the title only once a year. He says that under his leadership, the fans will have many exciting style confrontations, as well as huge rematch and fights with division's best opponents. According to Garry, the belt being around his waist means not only the emergence of the new champion, but also the increased interest in the whole welterweight division. Continuing, Garry went on to depict the future of the welterweight division with himself at its helm. It is worth mentioning that there were quite a few intriguing bouts for him, starting from the rematch with Shavkat Rakhmonov and continuing with the fight against such fighters as Michael Morales, Gabriel Bonfim, Sean, Brady, and others. As far as Garry is concerned, no division in the UFC has anything comparable to the welterweight one right now. Being a champion would mean fighting for the belt regularly, as well as facing exciting opponents all the time. Whereas Garry is thinking of becoming the next welterweight champion, many people still doubt his ability to go past the guy before him. Dan Hardy, who is a former UFC fighter and analyst, thinks that the fight will be extremely interesting, but the best challenge for Garry will be Makhachev's overall style of fighting. Whereas Hardy commended Garry for improving his grappling skills and being prepared for everything, he says that no training can be compared to Makhachev's pressure game. According to Hardy, the champion has an unbeatable style of fighting, from his superb wrestling to his calm striking and dominant control. Hardy also believes the move to welterweight could make Makhachev even more dangerous, arguing that competing at a higher weight allows him to perform at his best. He also warned that Garry's technical striking alone won't be enough, insisting the challenger must inflict meaningful damage early because simply trying to outpoint Makhachev over 5 rounds is unlikely to work. Adding his perspective, Georges St. Pierre believes the matchup is a compelling stylistic battle. He praised Ian Garry as a dangerous and highly skilled striker, but pointed out that Islam Makhachev's path to victory will likely revolve around his elite grappling. According to St. Pierre, if Makhachev succeeds in taking the fight to the ground, he'll have the advantage. However, if Garry can keep the contest standing and force a striking battle, the momentum could swing in his favor, making it a fascinating clash of styles. St. Pierre also believes Makhachev's well-rounded skill set gives him an advantage over the elite welterweights. While acknowledging the talent of contenders like Ian Garry, Michael Morales, and Carlos Prates, he argued that Makhachev's grappling separates him from the rest of the division. In St. Pierre's view, the former lightweight champion has the ability to excel in every area of MMA, but his wrestling and ground game remain his greatest strengths and will likely be the foundation of his strategy against the welterweight elite. While St. Pierre focused on Makhachev's technical advantages inside the cage, Din Thomas looked at what another victory could mean for the champion's legacy. He believes that if Makhachev defeats Ian Garry and extends his remarkable winning streak, it will become impossible to leave him out of the greatest of all time conversation. Thomas argued that fans often mention legends like Anderson Silva, St. Pierre, and Khabib Nurmagomedov before thinking of Makhachev, despite the champion quietly putting together one of the most impressive resumes in UFC history. Thomas went on to praise the quality of Makhachev's resume, arguing that his long winning streak has come against an unusually deep lineup of opponents. He noted that many of the fighters Makhachev defeated were in their prime at the time, yet the champion consistently made high-level competition look ordinary. Thomas added that even after moving up to welterweight, Makhachev has continued to prove his class. Although he believes Jack Della Maddalena was stylistically a more favorable matchup than Ian Garry, Carlos Prats, or Michael Morales, Makhachev still handled the challenge with impressive ease, further strengthening his case as one of the sport's elite. So, who do you think walks away with the win this August? Will Islam Makhachev's relentless training camp and championship experience prove too much? Or can Ian Garry back up all of his bold predictions and pull off the upset? Share your pick in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next UFC update.